Hi, everyone. This is James at Prague. How are you? And welcome to to my SoulCARE on this day of the 15th of November. Um, I just want to let you know that today's all about social media. Why? Well, I was recently able to get back on my Facebook page. At least I was this weekend. So I wanted to let everybody know that that is me on there. And I'll be using a lot of it coming up because we're going to do a lot next year of the social media as well. And especially this week, we're going to do something very special on Friday called Zoom. I'll let comments come in. So see people come in. Hello. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Sean, Kelly, Linda, Anthony, Holly. How are you? This Friday night, uh, at let's see, 4 o'clock my time, we're going to do a demonstration. Uh, So 4 o'clock to 4 o'clock to 5:30 probably Pacific time. And this is Friday, November 19th. So you should be here for that if you want to go demonstrate. There it's right there, 4 to 5:30. And you can sign up there if you'd like to go. Howdy doody. Howdy from Aruba. Hello, Jenny, Barbara, Jamie, Lucy. A lot of people have asked me over the many months that we've been doing this now, 2 years we're doing this. They love this event, and some people, how much you get paid for this? I got paid a thing for this. A friend of mine was shocked I got paid. I said, no, I don't do this. I get for pay. It's to help people because this soul care started 2 years ago when COVID started. Wanted people to have a place to go for some positive energy and some insights. It's because all they had was proper news, and I don't think they were being objective. So I have a broadcasting degree, and I thought objectivity is a thing. So this is a place to go to for positivity. And Mondays, I used to be every day, but now it's just Mondays. But after the first of the year, we will start another day, probably Thursday, because people like to connect this way. Hello from Iowa. My goodness. Hello, Barbara from Iowa. Oh, what are they doing the noise out there? They're making steps for me out there. That's why you hear, some of you might hear a little saw. So I just always, whenever that happens, and there's a saw, there's a leaf blower, someone cutting something up or whatever, I always think, you know what? That's okay. It's necessary to make it more beautiful another time. So that's how I look at it, because otherwise it would aggravate us. All right. Hello from Germany. So I wanted to talk today about a demonstration that this Friday night, November the 19th, and it's going to be an eclipse, a moon eclipse. It's going to be Scorpio, I believe. So it's going to be pretty trippy. It'll be an intense time for communication. So it's going to be a very special night, Friday, November 19th. I know there's a special thing that Spirit wants to do with you first before we do the readings. I don't know what that is. It's some kind of an exercise, and I don't know what it is yet. So I won't know until that afternoon when I tune into Spirit. I start working with them a couple hours before the show. So Friday, November 19th. So today I would like to answer questions. For years, people have asked about demonstrations. What exactly is a demonstration or communication in a group setting? Do people know things before they come to? Do I know where I want to go to? So people have been asking me all these questions. I said, let's hold off on that. We'll come to a time in SoulCare when I'll answer all about a demonstration. And since this Friday, the 19th, we have a big demonstration coming up, the last of the year probably. So these are all questions about demonstrations, if you have any. Okay, so if you have some, Renee and I'll pick them out, and we'll use them. This is probably my seventh, eighth, well, maybe eighth one this year. I worked the demonstration with Janet and Havoc in New York at Journey Within. We've done Zoom demonstrations. So a Zoom demonstration, it differs from a regular in-person demonstration in that through Zoom, we have 4, 8, 12, 16 people like I'm looking at a time. And I really, what I do is I invite people in, and I let Spirit are the ones who bring them. I don't bring them. And I bring myself into a space, well, before we get on Zoom, I bring myself to a space of receptivity to open myself up. So when I connect with you on Zoom, I just, whether it's through meditation or question and answers, I let Spirit come close to me. And on some level, I'm actually asking them to come closer. And as we're talking, all of a sudden, I become aware of them in my space. And I become aware, and this comes with development of mediumship. I become aware of them so much that they build, and I cannot go on without saying something. So that's how spirit communicates that way. People have asked me that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So no questions about demonstrations. Okay. Okay. Hugs from Portugal. Wow. In upstate New York. I love upstate New York too. I love Canada. I love Canada too. Thank you. Well, we start at 4 o'clock Pacific time. So I come into the room, and the way it works is I will do a I don't know, because for every demonstration I do, which is every event that I put aside a space for the spirit world to really, really close and for me to open up completely. And I will bring you through the experience of what it's like to open up completely this Friday, how I work, because I work medium works differently, and my teaching is different than what I actually do. I mean, I actually do what I teach, but there's also an aspect of it which I don't share until because you can't really appreciate it until you see it happening. So I will do that this Friday too. I will share with you my process of going before a group and doing it. This is from Heidi von Senden. Hi, Heidi. Is it more difficult to do a group demo than a one-on-one? Ah, that's a great question, because there are one-on-one mediums and there are group mediums. And for me, I used to be a one-on-one medium for many, many years, 30 years probably, or 25 years. And then I became a group medium in that I just do demonstrations. I've gotten so used to what now 15 years of total demonstrations. I've become so used to doing demonstrations that I don't do one-on-ones. I don't find it as comfortable on one-on-one because, and I also find it's really interesting, there's not as much energy to pull from. So I'm kind of like there and I'm like, okay, I get it. And then it's like, I got to really, really work extra to bring up that energy. So that's one thing I do love about groups. I love entertaining the audience. I'm a ham. I was born with 4 planets in Leo, so I have to like be showman. But I enjoy that. I enjoy the group process. I enjoy the whole group process because I'm very, very aware of it affecting that person. The reading might be for this person, but affected that person, affected that person. There's someone in the back that affected. And then I'm aware of the spirit people around, my guides that are around me. And then I'm often aware of many beings who are watching the process. That happens as well. So that's how in tune I am to that. So I like that though. I like the dynamic because also just like a one-on-one, but you never know what you're going to get with a group. I mean, you have such weird, fun stuff and crazy stuff, interesting stuff. A couple of things I've learned from that was this one lady said to her daughter, this was up in Connecticut, I believe it was. And she said to her daughter, who took care of her, the lady was who passed, was probably 85, 86, around there. And she was in a coma state for the past, I guess, 2 weeks of her life. And her daughter used to come every night and read her passages, spiritual passages, not biblical, spiritual passages about the other side and about your life and about leaving the body, about compassion and kindness and all these wonderful themes of this book. And I didn't know that. So the mother came back from the demonstration and the reading the message said, please tell my daughter here, I received every one of those words that you read to me because they were waiting for me when I came over here. So that was amazing. So that was an amazing insight that lady had that she brought to everybody in that audience. Every single person got that. And it changed everyone's life or changed everybody's perspective of that. Right? So that's really interesting. And another one which I was blown away. Hi, Sue Wells. Thanks for sharing. Another one that really blew me away was when this gentleman came through. And interesting, he came through as a suicide, which was very interesting because that in itself is a whole different dynamic than someone who passes a natural cause or is murdered. Each passing is such a different dynamic. Suicide is an interesting one because you never know the backstory with this. So as he came close, he was also wearing, I think as an evidence, he talked about wearing a uniform and a military uniform. And they was very close to that. And she said, yes. Said, well, but I'm telling you, I married him for a long time. Anyway, it came out he said he was in the military, but of course he wasn't anymore. But he said, I think it was an Iraq war, if I'm thinking correctly. What he told his wife was, he said, I'm going to cry just saying this. My sisters and brothers who I worked with, but who knew my military background, never leave you. They were there to rescue me when I came over. So that was pretty amazing. So he said, no one ever dies alone, which of course I've known that. But he said, in my instance, all of my fallen brothers and sisters are there to greet me, even ones I didn't know. But because I was a military person and had the experience, he was met by them. So it was just so loving and compassionate. I mean, you get stuff like that at every demonstration. You walk away with it like, wow, that I never thought of it that way. It changed my perspective. I can't believe that. So it's worth attending to see that happen. Okay, a question from Holly Swanson. During a reading, it seems like the more outgoing personalities come through, more often the shy introverted type. Do you agree with us? Yes, Holly, I do agree with you. I agree with you, and that to me is true too. Um, Now, not to say that the timid person doesn't get through or shy, but just like in life, when they stay behind, they'll kind of stay behind again in that life. Now, there will be those who are pushing them forward, and that has happened to me. But for me, I know personally speaking, my experience of doing a demonstration is that live sense of humor, funny, emotional person comes to me really easily. And that's because of my soul makeup also, because I have that within me. So it makes it easier for them to feel at home or to light up those lights and feel more comfortable, if you will, with types of personality traits. I think that's part of it. Good question. So, thoughtful question. Martine, Mev, do young souls get healing after tragic sudden passing in heaven? Was it accident 33 years age? Yes, Martine, the young souls. How do we know that? You mean young souls, like teenagers or children? Could be an old soul, by the way. An old soul might be someone who's older than you, that's lived more lifetimes than you have. So we got to be careful with our way we say it. The old souls get help. Those souls who pass, you say pass young in the physical life, that's just the physical, nothing to do with the soul. But the conditions of every passing leads with it those conditions they find themselves in. Um, the more spiritually aware they are, they understand what's going on. But those who what we humans call tragic, because essentially what appears tragic to the human, might not be so in this other side of life. That said, a spirit person, when they first pass over, we find, depending upon the situation, may find themselves in a treatment center, like a hospital. And it's it doesn't look like our hospitals, but there are beds, if we call them that, open aired. And there are those beings who are practitioners. There are some doctors, nurses, but they don't need them like we need them here. They really are in a place like a mental treatment center, in that they try to assist them in opening up their minds to the realization that what they have in there are old memories, and that's of the earth world, that they've just made a transition to the spirit side of life. So they help them over. So that is true. They do have places like that there. And of course, every soul is always met. No one's ever lost. And we have chosen this. This is our school down here, and that is our home. So we do recognize our home. Okay, good question. Joseph Gotti. Hi, James. Looking forward to demonstration. Yes, November 19th. Be heaven. You gave me a wonderful reading and used a pen and paper to write down thoughts. Do you still do that? Thanks, Joseph. I do that. What I do, and the reason I do that, and if I have any left over, I'll show it to people what you're talking about. But I usually throw them out after the reading, which I did in this case, because my desk is such a mess anyway that if I kept those papers, it'd be bad. So just like that, right? So a piece of paper, and I'll be sitting here and talking to Joe and say, there's an ant here. And sometimes I don't always write, like if I'm in a demonstration on stage, I don't, or one-on-one, I wouldn't. I do this here on Zoom because I found over the years, it keeps me from distractions. And if I'm on the computer and looking, I get distracted. So that kind of focuses me and grounds me. So that's why I do that. And I do that. You'll see me on Friday. I'll do that. Okay. Maze, it's okay. My dog is barking. Maze, it's okay. It's no one. It's just me and my friends. Okay. Abby, hold on. Excuse me. It's some lady in our house. Go get her. Go get her. Go get her. Go eat her. Come on. Go get her. Go eat her. Sorry, kids. My little dog. My a lady that helps me. How do you explain how we connect people for a psychic reading via Zoom? I do it and have been and asked what energy. I say the energy. Yeah, exactly, Abby. So energy is energy. People like to make the simplistic complex, right? The simplicity, the complexity. They try to find the complexity in the simplicity. And energy is energy. It doesn't matter if it's on Zoom. It doesn't matter if it's a different country. Thought is thought. It doesn't matter if it's in a different realm of energy, right? So that has nothing to do with it. More is important what's in the mind. and how open the mind is and closed minded. And if we think about limited in the mind, like being Zoom energy or a photograph or whatever, that we're limiting the possibility of the great spirit and the great intelligence of that world. So we got to give some credit to that side. Okay, that's a good question, Abby. Really thoughtful. Another question. Okay, Beth Glomsky. Hi, Beth. Hello from Michigan, James. How do we find out what our symbols are? I mean, when spirit speaks to you, it's in symbols, right? Which some are different for everyone. No, it isn't, Beth. It's not in symbols. It's in words. So it's usually in sentences. But you should, develop as a medium and come to the demonstration this Friday. You'll see I don't use symbols. Okay. And every medium is different. And even when someone's had experiences of being in workshops with mediums, they go to another medium and it's completely different. So we always got to be open minded. Okay, next question. Great. Anthony Nellis, if your dead loved one is near you, can they drain your energy? If you want them to, Anthony, if you give up your power and aren't aware of your energetic field, if you are aware of your energetic field and you have someone there who's pulling at you, you'll know that and you can say, stop it, and you can be in charge of it. So to that extent, you are in charge of it. But to another extent, if someone walks around, they're totally unaware of their energy field, and they had someone that passed over who was emotionally draining to them, they still may be. Okay. Hi, Renee. Good to see you again. This is probably a strange question. Well, I'm a strange answer. But when doing a group reading, the spirits try to push each other out of the way to come through. They compete with each other. Yes, they do. So good question. A lot of people think just because someone's in the spirit world that they gain manners. The answer is they really don't. The personalities are the same. Now, there might be a little more respect than before. I think in this case, we could assume there would be in a spiritual matter. We would assume that because they're in the spirit, as it was described to me, is that when people come together in a gathering of like-minded souls, and you create a space, a portal for those to come through and speak, and the mediumship, that they've said to me in the spirit world, it's like walking down a street. Like we'd walk down a street, and if there's a party going on at the house next door, what do we humans tend to do? We tend to walk over and look at that party that with lights going on, and if we're interested, we'll walk toward it, and they will, and even people that are in the demonstration this Friday. Let's say we have 200 people. Let's say that their spirits will know of them signing up, because the moment they sign up, they get that thought. So the spirit is with them. They're right there. And what happens is they will line up like we would on this side. And again, just because they're in spirit doesn't mean they know. That doesn't matter when you line up. But they will. They'll prepare a couple of days beforehand. And for all of you that are coming to the demonstration, you'll feel them 2 days beforehand coming around behind you a lot, because they have to get used to you working with your energy field. They'll be around me all week, getting used, which I'm used to. What the hell? And they'll try to figure out my stuff, and they'll talk to my guides and their guides, and really kind of work at doing this, because this just doesn't happen. They have to work through this. They have to work through old belief systems sometimes, old death conditions sometimes. It's a whole new way of communication, a whole new methods of communication. So they have to learn what the medium is about. They have to find messages or memories that they create on Earth with you that you can know about. Sometimes they go to school for demonstrations. I thought that was kind of interesting to hear, or classes, we could say, that they could learn how to create the thought or create a memory and put color on the memory and put an emotion inside the memory. So it's interesting that they also have to work at doing this. So yeah, watch this. So if you're going to come this Friday, from now on, be aware of what's going on. Like for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, be open to feeling them. Okay, another question. Stephen Smith, if spirits move on to another existence, why do they hang around the living? Why don't they move to something else? Great question, Steve. I don't know how much of that is true and how much is not. So I'm going to say, you're talking to a skeptical, cynical person. Cynical person, I'll say. Skeptic already has their mind closed. Cynical people are open-minded. So if we spirits want to another existence, let's just put it that way. Let me answer that first. So you as a spirit or a soul, in this case, let's say that 30% of what you are as a soul energy is inside the physical wall, physical self. but 70% is already out in the other realms, whatever that means, beyond our three-dimensional world. So we don't know how those dimensions work, what those laws are like. We have no idea. So when you say hang out here, it could be there might be a mindset of that spirit, that like an old memory that they hang around. That maybe it's just maybe it's just a mental thought form that you're picking up, right? That could be. So I think most of them is already over there. Why do they hang around? So that's why do they hang around the living? I don't think as we hang around as we think it is. Sometimes, though, you're saying that being said, sometimes, just like in the movie Ghost, just like in the Sixth Sense, in a way, there are those spirits who have mostly everyone passes over, and the only earthbound ones are us, right? Because we're still earthbound. But most of them pass home, go home. But some have lingering memories of something that's holding them back. So, for instance, I use this all the time. Let's say it was a mother who dies in childbirth. The baby lives, but she dies. Maybe in the mother's mindset, she might have that mental picture that I have to stay close to the baby in order for her to support her, not knowing really that from the spirit realm she'd be able to be closer to her and be able to hear her more, because 70% of that girl's soul is over there, right? So, um, and we're a man who, let's say, gets hit by a train, and he realizes, oh, my wife doesn't know what my life insurance policy is. I got to get in my head. I got to get close to her and push her to let her know where it is. Again, if he only passed the spirit, he'd be able to get through to her much easier, influencing her and inspiring her, because 70% of him is over there, 70% of her is over there. So that's very interesting to that. So that's my question answered, or your question answered. That's my answer. Josephine Finelli. Hi, Josephine. You have a very good future ahead of you, young lady. Do you have a routine to prepare before going to the demo? I do, Josephine. I do. 2 hours before I do, I will sit in my garden and meditate. I'll become aware of the stillness of my mind. And at the same time, I then go through kind of like, I'm very much a ritualistic type of person. Always have been. It has to come from Middle Ages or monasteries. Well, it has to. So I do a prayer. I just cut some trees down the other day. I was like, I could top them. And I didn't realize I kind of a little peekaboo ocean view. So I go there, and now I just pray in my garden. I pray to the divine being, the universe, to help me, to help others, and be assistant. We open our space. So I kind of get everything prepped before I go on. That's all I have to do. Because I don't need to go through like a regular medium would, or medium was just started, or a medium. I've done it 40 years, so I know where to go to, what door to open up. I'm not scared. I don't worry about not getting anything. So I don't even go there. So I just, I really can just get to that space and do it. And I did it for so many years in the radio show, Hey House Radio. I mean, I was in 30 readings within an hour of those. So I had so much practice of doing that quickly and getting to that space so fast that I was time to worry about the human part of me. So in a way, that was a good practice. Even my TV show, I did a lot of readings every day. Maybe that was good practice for getting me to a quicker space. That was that interesting. At that time, I didn't realize why it was so long. It took so long, and now I realize, oh, that's probably in preparation. Okay. Another question. Joanne Wilson. Hi, Joanne. I went to Reiki last week, and she talked about my past lives. Do you get messages about people's past lives with your demonstration? Yes. Sometimes I do, Joanne. Not every time, but definitely sometimes I do. For sure. Okay. Here's one. Can spirits of siblings that died when I was 1 year old come through? Michelle King. Can spirits of siblings that died when I was 1 year old come through? Of course, because we're looking at things from a physical level, and they're no longer like 1 year older than you or 1 year younger than you. You're spiritual. They're spiritual. So that's really what matters. There's no age over there. Age is the physical. Age in the spirit world is more wisdom, things that we've learned and accumulated, and expansion that we've gone through. So, but you'll still recognize each other as soul to soul. Okay. Oh, good question. Okay, what else? Oh, sorry about that. Heather, HC, James, I have never bothered you with this stuff. Okay, Heather, good. Approximately 4 weeks ago, I had a dream. Was the dream to warn me to seek medical help, or was it already in progress? I better see a doctor now. So, Heather, that's a very good question, but your mind is all over the freaking place because you're asking me 4 questions in one. Keep that up, Renee, if you could, please. Heather, James, I bothered you with probably 4 weeks ago. I had a dream, right? So there's so many different types of dreams. There's several different types of dreams. So don't fit into one category. Was the dream more to warn me, or seek mental help. What kind of dream was it? What was told in the dream? So I need to know more. If you get a feeling of a warning or that you'd follow through in the dream, then it would do your head right. It would do you right to feel better. Then get it looked at. Definitely. I can't say it was. I don't know the dream, but it could be if you feel it was, then use it. Why not? Um, or tell me it's something already in progress. Well, I don't know. You have again, you got to see. But there are. Thank you very much. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Renee. There are dreams that people have that, you know, they can tell the future too. Okay, this is Tina Trollo. Is how and when you leave this plane predetermined? Yes, most of the time it is. Our free will can get involved, but most of the time it is. And when I see free will, I'm saying like one night maybe we go with some friends and decide to drink like crazy and get in a car and be killed. That was your choice that made that happen. Okay, good. Stacy Monday. Lost my brother to muscular dystrophy. He's 44. I'm sorry, sweetheart. That's a muscular dystrophy. That's boy, that an old souls lesson. And not only for itself, but for a soul group. I decide if I should take him off of life support. Can my brother come through? Someone tell me I did the right thing, or is it my conscience only? Oh, it's your conscience, Stacy. It's your conscience, my love. I'll tell you that from right now. I've never, in my many, many years, have done this, and I've got through many, many people with life support. A lot of them tell them, "Thank you so much for helping me to pass on. Thank you for giving me that bit of life." So it's a compassionate act. I did with my dad. It's a compassionate thing you do, you know. So and thank you for it. That's and anything guilt you feel is your own self. He's fine. He's fine and happy. Phyllis White, do you hear soul speaking or do you see images of their thoughts when you do readings? How about a little bit of both, Phyllis? How about when spirit speaks to me, when the soul comes speaking to me, and they will send me with telepathically a thought, which may be a colored thought, a thought that could be a memory, it could be show me a window or a picture of a memory that they experienced. And the memory might be them walking in the room. Memory might be them walking in a park. I can hear sounds first. Then I can maybe see a face another time. It's kind of sporadic again, depending upon the fixed, the medium trying to send that to me. Some are very sporadic. Some are really great streamlined consciousness ones, but most are sporadic because number one, they're excited. Number two, the loved one on earth is very excited. Number three, they've never done this before. And number four, they just are a little nervous. So that's what happens. And does it matter what language? No, it doesn't matter what language because thoughts are universal. So it doesn't matter if it's Spanish or Portuguese or German or Afghani. It doesn't matter. They just speak with thoughts. I worked all over the world in all different languages. Okay, Sharon. If we had other lives, do we have to agree with other souls to experience this life together? Yes, Sharon, you do. You pick your family and you pick your friends. You pick your mom, you pick your dad, you pick your siblings. So we pick those people in our life that we will grow from the most for ourselves and for each other's growth. And many times we wonder about like family information. How can we pick up this family? How can I ever pick a family like this? Oh my God, they're awful. Well, those are your greatest teachers. Those souls you don't get along with the most in your life are your greatest teachers because there's something within your being that has not come to wholeness of being, that you're still in a judgmental zone. So what within you is not equalized yet? So that's what we got to ask ourselves. Instead of projecting out to other people and their faults, take responsibility to look within ourselves and see what we learned. And if we're all together, we're all one, what lessons are we learning? If we take away from judgment, what lessons are we learning from that? My mother was an addict when she was young. She was an alcoholic. And it was a bad, bad alcoholism. And I often wondered, why would she do that to me? When I was a little kid, I'd say, why you just die, you should die. And then what happened was now when think back about those times, I think, wow, I was ignorant as a child, but that's what a child would do. And I think, well, that was my greatest lesson. And she's a great teacher. Like, wow, she taught me a great deal of compassion and kindness and patience and addiction. So she taught me a lot. To have to go through that, she taught me. And I thank her every day for that. Okay. Susan Sogan, is the soul entirely earthly, whole in dementia patients relative to? No, not at all. No. With dementia and comas, I found that the soul will leave the body quite often. And then there's the loved ones, they'll get used to being out of the body. So they don't like being in the body when they're in that state because it feels like the scrambled eggs in their head. I've had many dementia people. So hold on one second, kids. Hello. I'm in the middle of doing a soul care show. So you're being televised right now. I'm talking to Lynn Probert, who's a medium from England, and she never calls back. So I just got to grab this phone call. She's coming next October. So, okay, I'll call you back. Okay, goodbye. Oh, you look so pretty. Wait a minute, don't you go. Let's show everyone. Say hi, everyone. Look at Lynn. Wow, do you look different? Surprise! Surprise! I'll call you later. You look I gotta digest this new look. I don't know. We'll have to discuss. You should have asked me before you did anything. I love you. I'll call you a bit. That's my good friend Lynn Probert. It's time to look down. I've been trying to get her. We're gonna do a show next October here. And we do a week's workshop, and we do a demonstration. She's fantastic. My favorite teachers to work with. So that'll be next year. So I want to talk to her about setting up a date. So I called her. She said she'd call back after a dem, and I hadn't seen her. She's gonna dem, and she has a whole new look on her, which is interesting. Her hair is dark. Okay. Okay. Your demonstrations are life altering. They are, Lori Smith. Thanks, Lori. Love you. So much information every time. The variety of your guides come to you depending on what issues. Yes, very much, Lloyd. Great question. The guides that are with me that night are really, I have my regular guides. Let's say, I don't want to give exact numbers, but let's say I have 4 guides that are always there in my place, which they will always be. I think we all do. And then you have other guides that might be around because I'm doing something like a creative space, I'm creating a garden. So we'll have still those people hanging out around me. But then we'll have those worker guides who are with me, who come in that particular day or week, if we can say that, maybe a couple of days, your Earth time, a couple of days before, to work again with my energy. And there might be specialized guides because they already know in the spirit world what the demonstration is going to be like, what's going to happen. And they'll know the kind of help that is going to be needed and the type of issues that are going to be addressed at that time of the demonstration. So there'll be specialized guides for that, for sure. I've had that many times. And I have like rings of guides around me and around the other guides. And remember, they have guides around them, on top of them. So there's a whole thing going on there. It's really interesting. Okay. Josephine, during meditations, I met my spirit guide, and I was overwhelmed with the feeling of familiarity. But you would be because you've been with them before, right? He put his forehead to my forehead to greet me, as if to say, finally know who I am. So think about it. When we go to sleep at night, we go to the spirit side of life, and we connect with our guides. And most of the time, we do. It's your earthly mind which is coming up put that back up, Renee, please, just for a little bit. I want to see that end of that question, please. Yeah, just keep. That's fine. Keep it up. That's what happens. If we get back to the earth mind, we forget. That conscious mind forgets about those experiences outside of ourselves. Very powerful. How did you know your guide? Thank you. Okay, thanks, Josephine. Thanks, Renee. So my very first guide I became aware of really was during my demonstration, my development with Brian Hurst, who's a medium, my teacher. He became in that development circle. I was into a deep state, and all my guides come to me different during the different weeks. Very strong. One came through me to speak. One I felt to overshadow me. Golden Feather, who that was. My philosopher guide has always been there. Dr. Harry, he's been there. I once had an alien-looking guide who was with the group because he was alien looking in the house we were describing, the star seed from somewhere. And yeah, it's very interesting. And they change depending again on the group that you have. Very much so. Okay, another question. Solitaire Miles, if you live in a haunted house, do the spirits drain your energy? I don't know. I live in a haunted house, I guess you'd say. What does whatever haunted means? I don't know what that means. I have spirits around my house, around me all the time. So do you. We all do. They're around different realms around us. So if it's a place which is, it again depends on the house, the space that you're in. Is it a portal? Did something happen there emotionally? I don't know. It depends, and there are different levels of what we would call haunting and draining of energy. Someone asked earlier about draining of energy, and you've got to, if you want to stay in that kind of space, and let's say they do drain your energy, then you're putting yourself in that situation, and that's your responsibility to take care of yourself or feel drained all the time. That's you. So it had nothing to do with them. So you have to make up your mind what you want, what's important for you, what feeds you, what does not feed you. That's something you have to figure yourself. I don't believe there are many haunted places per se. I don't. I think why would there be when there's so much over there as life? But okay, those are my thoughts on that. Is it common for people to begin channeling to experience an increase in their appetite? Not necessarily, not really, not that I have, not unless you get to worry about, well, be concerned about your blood sugar as well. I'd be concerned about that, but that would be it. I don't have that experience. Listen, so I'm gonna let you guys go now because it's getting a little late. So it's November this 19th, November 19th, this Friday at 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock Pacific time. And go to vampire.com events to sign up. And it's going to be a different type of demonstration than I've done before. I don't know what the first activity is going to be. There will be messages. There might be, I don't know what different type of messages that we're talking about, doing something very different. So we'll see. So this Friday, I look forward to seeing all of you. And tonight on Both Sides Now and Beyond with Kelly White. Tonight we're having a show where we're going to pull memorabilia from our old files. Look at this. Our favorite memorabilia and things we treasure, things we've gotten from celebrities and everyday life and weird objects and strange stories. And so we'll do that tonight on Files with James Kelly. So that's tonight also at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And look forward to seeing you next time. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, night.